There are two ways to realize your reality. Realize what you are. One is to surrender every single atom of your being and doing and acting to God, because God is all there is. Understanding that nothing else exists but God, then slowly inside you start to change the thoughts that you were doing were not your doing at all. This is freedom instantly, when it is deeply felt and experienced that only God exists. This is the most freedom felt in a minute. And the other way is the way of the jhana, the wisdom. To surrender is the bhakti, that is to surrender. And jhana is wisdom, knowing with your mind, understanding that it is so logical that only God exists, that wherever you see and look around, it is God. Then you start to understand that it has always been this, and it will always be this, because only God exists makes you know that whatever you see and do is God. So this also brings you to the reality that you never did anything and never acted and never, but you thought so, and thinking that makes the separation. Thinking I am this, I am that, I need to do this, and I am responsible, I am good, I am not good, that all is the wrong idea in your mind. And you can tell your mind, shut up, you are not right, all is God, but we are so used to listen to our mind that it will not stop. It has to be convinced that it is really God doing and not the mind. And the mind wants to understand and to be convinced. That is really understanding. Mind wants to know, but wanting to know, isn't that also a piece of the mind? Is that also the I, the separated I, that wants to know? Yeah, you can tell me all is good, but I want to know why. How do you explain? That is all mind. And when you understand, when you convince the mind that it is really God, that's logical that all is God, then there is still this mind wondering how come and why. And so it is always the mind playing the boss in your life. Even the wisdom of the jhana will be left behind when bhakti has taken over, that you feel and experience there is only God. That's the end of the story of the mind. It will know everything, and then there's nothing more to know. But there's always this experience of this blissful feeling. All is God. This here is God. Over there is God. That what happens there is God. I am God. And I am God. I feel it. I know it, but I feel it. And that's the most blissful thing, to feel it, because knowing will be left behind when you die, when your body is left behind, the mind is left behind, and there's this experience of being God. It will never be left behind. It's merging in your own source. So both will bring you to yourself. And it is not an easy path. To surrender really to God is also work, because when you drop something precious that you like to, and it breaks, at that moment thinking, oh, this is God, well, it's a nice journey, and it will bring you home, because the journey started from home. Where the journey starts is the inner self, and it explored everything, and it has experienced everything, and now it knows, this inner self knows, this is me, this is God. Happy, happy, happy.